All right, let's dive into a problem that pretty much every brand, agency, and creator has run into. How in the world do you manage a bunch of Instagram accounts in a browser without completely losing your mind? Does this whole scene sound just a little too familiar? You're trying to handle several different Instagram profiles, and you're just constantly logging in, logging out, fighting weird glitches, and getting smacked with security checks over and over. It's a massive time suck. For anyone who's running 3, 5, maybe even 10 profiles at once, this isn't just some tiny annoyance. It's a full-blown headache. We're talking cookie conflicts, getting signed out of everything by accident, and those dreaded security flags that can bring your entire workflow to a grinding halt. So here's our game plan for tackling this. We're going to start with the basics you've probably already tried. Then we'll level up to some clever browser tricks, look at the pro-grade tools, and wrap it all up with a workflow checklist that ties everything together. Okay, first things first. Let's really dig into the core problem here, because this isn't just about being inconvenient. It's about wasting precious time and opening yourself up to some very real security risks. So what's the first stop for pretty much everyone? Level 1, Instagram's very own built-in account switcher. It's where most people start, but as you'll see, it hits its limits really, really fast for any kind of professional use. On the surface, it looks great. Super simple. You log in, you add your other accounts, up to 5 of them, and then you just toggle between them from the little profile menu. The best part? No extra software needed. But, and it's a big but, this simplicity is really deceptive. And here's exactly why it falls short for anyone doing this seriously. All your accounts are basically living in the same digital box. They're sharing cookies, which means logging out of one can accidentally log you out of all of them. Your notifications become a chaotic mess, and switching back and forth too fast can make Instagram think you're a bot, which triggers those annoying security alerts. All right, let's level up. We're moving on to solutions that use the power of your web browser itself. We can actually create some much-needed separation between accounts with features like browser profiles and containers. Now, this approach gives you a really clear trade-off. Using different browser profiles, one for each client, say, gives you awesome separation. Each one is its own little sandbox. The big downside? It is a memory hog. And to Instagram, it all still looks like it's coming from one single computer. On the other hand, Firefox containers are super lightweight and keep everything tidy in one window, but that digital wall between them just isn't quite as strong. Okay, now we're getting into the heavy-duty stuff. For the agencies and marketers running big, complex operations, there's a whole category of tools called anti-detect browsers. These are built for serious scale, but they definitely come with their own learning curve. These tools are pretty fascinating. They don't just separate your accounts, they make each browser profile look like a completely unique person on a totally different device, maybe even from another part of the world. They do this by tweaking dozens of technical details and letting you assign a unique IP address to every single profile. But, and this is a huge but, that kind of power doesn't come cheap. We're talking $50 to $100 per user per month. For a solo manager or a small team, that's often just total overkill and way out of budget. So that leads us to a newer category of tool that's trying to find that perfect middle ground. What if you could get that pro-level isolation, but without the eye-watering cost or the headache-inducing complexity? This is the exact problem that cloud-native browsers are designed to solve. The key idea here is actually pretty simple. The browser isn't even running on your computer. Instead, you're basically streaming a completely walled-off secure browser session from a server in the cloud. And what this means is that every single tab you open is its own independent browser. The benefits here are super practical. You get total isolation in every tab, so no more cookie conflicts, gone. And because nothing is stored on your actual device, it's a huge security win if your laptop gets lost or stolen. Plus, features like session sharing are an absolute game changer for agencies. You can give a teammate live access to an account without ever having to send a password over Slack. And just to make it real, if you look at a typical pricing model, you can see how this kind of solution is built to scale right along with you. You can start with a really low-cost plan for just yourself, and then expand to bigger team plans as you bring on more clients. Okay, but listen, having the right tool is only half the equation. Your workflow, how you actually use the tool, is what separates the amateurs from the pros. So let's build out a professional checklist you can start using right away.
Here's your action plan. 1. Always use high-quality residential proxies to look like a real user, not a bot. 2. Lock down your accounts with strong passwords and two-factor authentication. That's non-negotiable. 3. Make sure your session's location settings match the account's target audience. And please, don't log into 10 accounts at the exact same second. Stagger your activity to look more human.
At the end of the day, this is the ultimate goal, right? It's not just about finding some clever workaround. It's about fundamentally fixing your workflow so you can banish that login friction for good and get back to the creative work that actually grows the accounts.
Look, a professional workflow combined with the right tool gives you what you actually need: isolation, security, and efficiency. By just getting rid of that daily friction of logging in and out, you can reclaim a shocking amount of time. And that really leaves us with one final question. What would you do with all that time back?